Hey everybody, Alex from AdaptableStrength.com here with part 5 of the So You've Never Lifted Before series. Today is going to be going over what day 2 looks like within the program. We're going to go over what all of the exercises are for in terms of the muscles that are being targeted, and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at each exercise individually and talk about the proper form for when you try and do them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this slide. The workout program on the whole is going to be this 3-day program. We've already gone through day 1 in the prior part where you can take a look at how all of those exercises are executed. Today we're going to be taking a look at day number 2, and in more detail, what it looks like is going to be your barbell row is going to be targeting your back. And again, just like in the last presentation that we did, we have in parentheses the assisting muscles that we do not want to be taking over when we are doing the exercises. So if you are doing your rows and you're feeling that your biceps or your forearms are going to be the limiting factor, then you're going to need to change your form. Usually what that means is getting your spine straighter, your chest pulled up a little bit. That way when you pull the bar, you're doing it more so with your back in a position to participate more effectively. The other thing you want to make sure you're going to be doing is keeping that angle between your forearm and your biceps to be as maximized as possible. And we'll go over that more once we look at the exercise itself. We're going to do the same exact thing when you look at the reverse pec deck, sometimes called a reverse fly, and that's going to be for your rear delts with possible assistance coming from your traps or some of the smaller muscles inside your back. Dumbbell curls for your biceps. We're going to look at a specific style of squats using a Smith machine for your quads, and you're going to have your dumbbell stiff-legged deadlifts for your hamstrings with contributing muscles primarily being your glutes and your lower back. And we'll finish it off with the easy bar skull crusher for your triceps. So when we're thinking about when you are doing these exercises, you can take a look at these images here, so that way you can look at where you're supposed to be feeling the burn predominantly when you are doing the exercises. Back, we're mainly looking at the beefy part of it, the lats in particular. Some traps are going to participate. They're not highlighted, but I want to point out there, if you are feeling some trap, it's not the end of the world. Rear delts are going to be a component of your shoulders that you're going to try and hit. Biceps are going to be your biceps, and then you've got the aspects for your legs, mainly predominantly being the quads and the hamstrings. No calves in this particular day, and you're going to finish it off hitting those triceps on the opposite side of the biceps. So we're going to take a look at the barbell row next, and whatever style you're going to be doing of these, we're going to be predominantly looking at the standard one. This is sometimes called a Yates row, so if you see that going around, it just means you're standing a little more upright. The main point here is to make sure when you are doing these, you're looking at the angle between your forearm and your biceps. You're seeing I'm still pulling that bar close into my body, but I'm doing it while maximizing the angle between those forearm and the biceps. That ensures they're contributing as little as possible and making it more of a back motion. You can see because of the balance, there is a little bit of a swing, and that's because the bar is being dragged along my thighs the entire time. That's going to result in a more backward direction, a backward diagonal that the barbell is moving if you were to watch from the side. And then to keep the balance, it means there's going to be a tiny bit of lean that's going to be happening. So as you're watching this, you can see that every rep is going to be done slowly and smoothly, and it's without moving the shoulders too much. I'm not picking my neck into it, and it's the main thing to do is to stay in constant control the entire time. And that's the basics for the barbell row. So now for a little bit more of an advanced view on the barbell row, there are different ways you can do it manipulating the back angle. So here you have what's called a pendlay row, where your back is much farther forward than it was in the other style of doing it. But you'll see what was happening before is still true as much as can be. I'm trying to maximize the angle between my bicep and my forearm, and it's being executed in a way where the back is still the primary factor. So you can see I'm getting a good bit of lat contraction, but at this point with this style, there is more forearm involvement, especially when it comes into the motion. It's a little bit harder to do this style, so I do not recommend starting with it, but I want you to be aware of the possibilities with the motions and the different ways that can be done. There's not necessarily a wrong way to do it unless you're feeling some kind of pain that is not good for you to experience. Next, we have the reverse pec deck, sometimes called the reverse fly. This is going to be a motion that's going to be targeting your rear delts, and when you are doing these, you can see how controlled the motion is. I'm not overextending my shoulder blades. I'm making sure that everything is seated and under control and smooth motion, and I'm not pulling my neck into it. I'm keeping my neck as much out of it as I can. The thing is, the reps are slow and smooth, controlled, and I'm making sure that the way they're being done, all of the pulling is happening from the backs of my shoulders. I'm not using my triceps to extend my arms, and I'm not pulling my elbows in and changing the angle to turn it into a row. It is a it's a circular motion stemming from the front to your sides, and that is all. The less you can move during this, the better. Now we're getting into your standard bicep curl. The main thing that you want to see in this exercise is the fact that my elbows are staying stationary. I'm not throwing them forward. That is a viable way to do it, but if you're going to do that, you want to do it on purpose and not accidentally. The other thing to note is that as I'm doing this, I'm turning the dumbbells. You don't have to. There are different styles of curl. If you want to stay in that starting position that I have here where my palms are facing into my body, that's just a hammer curl. It's a different style. The other thing you'll notice is that as I'm twisting, I'm trying to bring my pinky as high to the ceiling as possible. You can get a better bicep contraction by doing that. What you can also do is just stay in that position with your palms up the entire time. So your palms up at the bottom to palms up at the top. It just depends on what is comfortable for you. But the main thing to do is to make sure that you're not using your shoulder to do the work for you. What you are doing is positioning your arm so that as little moves as possible except for your forearm bending at the elbow. You can see there is a little bit of swing that happens, but that's just because of balance. If you want to eliminate any swing that's going to happen, you can always put your back against a wall. It'll make the exercise harder, but it's a viable way to do the curls. Now we're getting into one of the more technical motions in the program with the Smith machine squat. You'll see that I'm staying as upright as I can, evenly under the bar, and I'm moving slowly and under control to go as low as I can while keeping my back in a good, solid, straight, and safe position. You're going to try and make sure you control your breath very specifically, where you take a big breath in at the top and you hold that breath as you go all the way down and continue to hold it as you come part way up before exhaling at the point where power is more important than stability. What you are doing with this exercise is starting to really pay attention to the fact that sometimes stability is more important than producing power. And if you hold that breath, you're prioritizing your stability. If you are exhaling, you are prioritizing your power. The biggest thing to do is to make sure you're always balanced and under control. Because this Smith machine locks that bar pattern, you want to ensure that your balance is solid and your feet positioning is good. So you can see as I'm going down and up, I am always in a position of stability. You can see I come down smoothly, go all the way to the bottom, and I can power up comfortably. At no point am I rocking forward or backwards and putting myself into body positions that I don't want to do. Everything is very controlled, and that's what you want to prioritize when you are doing this as well. This is going to take some practice, but once you nail it, you'll really have a good understanding of how your body moves through space, because the weight is trying to compress you. And if you can counteract that and stay upright in a strong position, that's a really good sign that you know how to move your body in a controlled, safe manner. Stiff-legged deadlifts are going to carry over from those Smith machine squats and work on some of those same aspects where you're trying to control your body position and control your breath, so that way you're always in a stable position at the bottom. So you'll notice that as I'm doing this, my spine is staying nice and straight, and I'm making sure to lower down under control while trying to keep my legs as straight as possible. I have those dumbbells held comfortably pretty close to my body, and I am extending from my hips. So as I come down, I'm maximizing that stretch in the hamstring and then using that stretch to act as a rubber band to pull myself back up. And you want to make sure that the two muscles that are doing the most work when you are doing this are your hamstrings and your glutes. You do not want your back to take over. The main thing is to ensure you're staying safe in the entire time by having that back in a nice, healthy position. If you end up curving your back, then it's not going to be in the safe position that you want it to be. Keeping it nice and straight is a good way to keep yourself locked and secure. A really great example of this is what I'm going to show you next, which is actually not me doing it, but one of my athletes, Claire, who has phenomenal form and better control than I do on these. So here is me working with Claire as we are trying to make her stiff-legged deadlift a little more effective. We're using a different style. It's using a belt squat. However, it is still very much the same exercise. It just has slightly different leverages. But you're seeing the same things staying true. Straight back, minimizing the bend in the knees, and having as much control as you possibly can as you do the motion. This is a great example of a different body type doing the exercise. And if you have somewhere that's on closer to maybe Claire's side or closer to my side or in between, it doesn't matter. Every body type can do it. They just might look a little different. And so just keep on going with them, experiment, and try and make sure you can stay comfortable with the motion and safe. If you can get someone to help you out and call you out while it's happening, as you can see me doing here, then that is a great tool to help things get better. Final exercise of the day is the Easy Bar Skull Crusher. So what you can see is it's a little bit of a different setup as we're now using the bench and we're using that Easy Bar. The closer in your grip is, the better, because you want to make sure you can keep your elbows in as you are doing it. What you want to do is make sure you can start with your arms pointing straight out from you, perpendicular to the ground, and then what you're doing is bringing your hands slowly down to go ahead and touch essentially your forehead, your nose, somewhere in that range that is comfortable for you, that allows you to keep your elbows close in. The goal is to maximize the tricep burn as you are doing this, and what you want to do is have a nice smooth motion the entire way, working on the full range of motion. The main thing is when you get to the end of the set and it gets really, really hard, it's easy to have those elbows flare out. So do your best to keep your elbows in so you can always have that tension on the triceps to the greatest degree possible. Thank you very much. I'm hoping that this was a good overview of what that day 2 would look like. The biggest thing is just to give it a try. You're never going to look perfect on the first time doing it. What you want to do is just continue to practice, hold yourself to a high standard, and if you can have someone else observe, help you out, or you can film yourself doing the lifts, it's a great way to make sure that you are practicing safely and effectively. So keep trying. It's not going to go perfectly, just keep on going. All right, if you need more, you can go ahead and just inquire about coaching. You can DM me directly, send me an email, alex@adaptablestrength.com. I've got more information over there on Instagram at Adaptable Strength. And if you feel like just email me directly, just don't hesitate to just send something out to me. It is perfectly okay. Hopefully that helps. And just a friendly reminder that you're not doing this alone.